Hi, Lesia Kohut, Integrative Nutrition Health Coach and Eco Pastry Chef here. And today I am here with my friend, lovely person, Minister and Visioning Coach, Helen Valleau. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited that we get to have this little conversation today. And so basically what I would love is, could you just tell the folks a little bit about who you are, what you do as a minister, what you do as a visioning coach, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. And thanks for having me. I'm so thrilled. As a minister, I think for me, the biggest thing in being a minister is really serving people and supporting them in understanding how powerful and beautiful they are, how perfect, whole, and complete that they are, and that they can tap into that power at any time and really create their lives in a full, rich, exciting way for themselves. And, so many of us get caught up in all that negative chatter that goes on in our heads.
Yeah.
That negative chatter and all those little voices that say, no, you can't do that, or you're too old, or you're not good enough. And none of that is true, ever, ever, ever. We can always tap in and really utilize our own inner wisdom and our strength and our capabilities and shift our mindset into a place of right and perfect action and saying yes to all the possibilities that life has to offer. And it's really, it's knowing that we're loving and we're lovable and we're good enough and we're worth it.
And that's really where everything comes from. I mean, you can eat the right foods, you can do the right kind of exercise, you can read all the right books, have the right job, but if you don't love and connect with who you truly are, it kind of doesn't work, right?
Yeah. And I think one of the things is that we're taught that we need to have the right job and we need to have the right house and we need to have the right family. And certainly I was taught that, and I have the right look, the right everything on the outside. But on the inside, we're not loving ourselves and we're not truly caring for ourselves and we're not being authentic.
Right.
And so I heard it said so well that, especially for women, but also for men, that it's kind of like a badge of honor to put ourselves down and to push ourselves and to not be very kind and loving to ourselves. And, when we do that, we're creating a lot of negative energy. And the way I love to explain it the best is that our thoughts and our beliefs are like energy. They are energy. We can't see them. We can see the results of our thoughts and beliefs, but we can't actually see our thoughts and beliefs.
Right.
And that's just like electricity. We can't see electricity, but we can see the results of electricity. And electricity, like our thoughts, can be used in two ways. We can stick our fingers into a light socket and electrocute ourselves, which is what we do when we carry a negative mindset with us. Or we can turn on a light switch and illuminate a room.
Right.
And when we shift the way that we think and feel, because they have to work together, about ourselves into something that is loving and healthy and constructive and beneficial, then we'll start to see those healthy, loving, beneficial results on the outside.
Right.
Because when we're loving ourselves, we'll make those healthy choices because we realize we're worth it.
That's beautiful. I love that. And that is, I think, one of the main reasons that I'm so excited that Helen is actually going to be one of the guest speakers during my new 12-week Eat Well, Be Well group program. They're all going to be important sessions, that's for sure. But the one on connection not only sort of with others, kind of in the group sense, but also connecting with yourself, about fellowship and about finding your true inner spirit. When I was thinking about those things, I just thought you would be such a perfect person, like an actual gift to the people attending, because of your beliefs and the way that you work. So can we talk just a little bit about how people can actually start making those connections, whether it's with others, the community, or themselves, of like what people can do to start changing their thoughts and sort of getting on a better, more loving path?
Yeah, first of all, you have to be aware of what those negative thoughts are. And it's not just one negative thought. It's a pattern of thoughts. And so when we start to get really conscious of, wow, I am focusing on, judging myself and cutting myself down or putting myself down, or I see that I'm going to work and I have a really negative mindset about my work, or perhaps it's about the people you work with, or you're in judgment of people. What we can do is, once we become aware of those patterns, is say, oh, you know what? I have choice. I don't have to focus my mind this way. I don't have to be putting out all that kind of negative energy. And one of the first things that I think is so valuable and so important that sometimes gets a bad rap are affirmations.
Okay.
And when we start to affirm within ourselves that we have a power within us that we can use, that we're good, we're loving, we have incredible attributes and gifts to share with the world, and we start to affirm that for ourselves, we're actually shifting our focus from the negative and all the beating ourselves up to, oh, you know what? I'm not buying into that anymore. I'm going to affirm that I'm loving, I'm powerful, I'm wise, I'm smart, I'm capable. And we start to shift, and literally our focus starts to shift in a more positive, loving way. And we can do that with others as well, because we can also be, and I know I was, really conditioned to look for what's wrong in somebody else or what's wrong with the situation. And yes, critical thinking is very valuable. And when we can also start to look at what is right, what is good. And we're conditioned, not just in how we're brought up and what we learn, but it's all around us to look at the negative, focus on the negative, stay stuck in fear. And what we want to do is shift that into, well, wait a minute. It's not just one thing. There's a whole spectrum here. And you want to start to shift the spectrum and open up your own consciousness to be able to see the good, not just what isn't working. And there's another thing that I think is so important, and that's gratitude. Because when we can start to give thanks for what we have, it turns what we have into enough. Because we're in a culture of, I want, I want, I want, I want. And we just keep creating more wanting. I want this. Now I want that. Now I want to go here. Now I want to do this. Now I want that experience. And we're constantly in this motion of being outside of ourselves, looking for the next thing, instead of being really present and connected and grateful for what is right here, right now. And there's something really powerful that happens to us when we step into gratitude and we start to not only acknowledge what we're grateful for, feel it, because we can just stay stuck in our heads and just say, yeah, I'm grateful for this. But we want to feel it, and we also want to express it. And what happens is that literally opens up a portal in us to receive more. But when we are focused on the lack and the wanting and what's not working, we're literally constricting and cutting off the flow of goodness to ourselves.
There's a saying that I saw the other day, and I think it was something like, don't let the things you can't do stand in the way of the things you can. And that's what went through my mind several times in the last few minutes as you were talking about this, because I think that is something that people, and I know I do it too, too often they do exactly what you were just talking about. They hone in on the things that aren't working, the things that they can't do, the things that maybe they should be doing or they think they should be doing, instead of focusing on the things that they have, on the abundance that is already in their lives, the talents they have, the things they can be grateful for. And so I think there's a lot of great work and inspiration that will come from the session that we're going to do together, because I really believe that, you know, even though we'll be talking about food and diets and ways of eating, really it's just one small part of what overall health is about. And connection, whether it be to others, to community, to yourself, being thankful, being aware, it's all part of the big picture, and it's all gonna you know, make things work in the end. And if affirmations are the way to start, and how some people say fake it until you make it, I know I've done that before, where I'm saying things to myself in the mirror, and just, you know, a time comes when you really start feeling it.
And that's what happens. It's actually, we're shifting and we're changing the creative process that's always working through us. It's working through us whether we're aware of it or not. And it's whether we're using that process in a destructive and negative way, which then we end up creating more negativity in our life, or we use the creative process in a constructive manner. And using that creative process, and like what you were saying, of affirming until it lands, is like you're continuing to saturate your subconscious mind until it is so full of it, of that affirmation, and that doesn't just happen once, that then it starts to show up in your life. And then once it shows up in your life, you go, oh my gosh, that really worked. And then there's an excitement about it, and you start doing more. And then that cycle of positive creative flow starts to work through us. And you know, there's something, when you talked about food, I was talking about thoughts or energy. One of the things is around blessing our food. And in understanding that the food that we're about to eat came from somewhere, was prepared either by us, but also, you know, the preparation of coming from the farm to the table, or wherever it came from, hopefully a farm of some sort, in some manner. That when we can give thanks for that, we're actually putting that positive energy into our food, and then to eat the food that we're so grateful for and thankful for, again, changes the energy of the food we're putting into our body, and we're nourishing ourselves not just from the nutrients of the food, but from the entire energy of the food.
I love that. Love that. Wow. Okay. So we could keep talking about more and more stuff, but here's just a little snippet of the things that we'll be talking about and working on during the 12-week group program. So just before we go, why don't you tell people a little bit about where they can find and work with you as a minister, and then about your program, your visioning coach program that you have.
So I'm associated with the Center for Spiritual Living Toronto. And you can always reach me at helen@csltoronto.com for the center. And I'm always happy to do spiritual counseling and prayer work with people. I also have my own program and my own website, which is ayearofpossibilities.com. And on there you can sign up for a free weekly inspirational minute.
I get that.
I know you do. And as well, I have an upcoming program that starts March 1st, and it's 40 days of inspiration.
Okay.
And it's about a 5-minute recording of an inspiring message.
Oh, fantastic. So lots to choose from,
Yep.
lots to be inspired by. Okay, well, Helen, thank you very much. Helen Valleau, minister and visioning coach. I'm Lesia Kohut, integrative nutrition health coach and eco pastry chef. And thank you for joining us for another episode of Eat Well, Be Well TV.